a lot of people ask, well, how do you know so much? How do you know what this stuff is? And I will tell you, my secret is that my family calls it my superpower. It's my ability to see value in things that other people might overlook. Sometimes I go picking with my boyfriend, sometimes it's my best friend Sue, and sometimes it's my kids. But at the end of the day, it's all about having fun and hopefully just maybe making a profit. Out on the table in front of me, I have everything from yesterday's shopping video at Thunderbird Salvage in Philadelphia. So if you haven't seen that video yet, there's a link to it down in the description. But we got some really, really great things yesterday, and I'm so excited to share them with you. So let's talk about what we got. Now, each item isn't individually priced, but our total spend was $75. So keep that in mind as I'm going over stuff and its values. We're gonna start right in front here with the milk glass, because I tell you guys all the time to avoid milk glass. So you're probably wondering, why do I have milk glass when I tell you to avoid it? Now, when you're just starting out in thrifting, one of the traps that you often fall into is thinking that because milk glass is old, it's worth money, but it's not. It really isn't. I have been thrifting and antiquing for long enough that I'm able to recognize a piece of milk glass that is old versus a piece of milk glass that is vintage. This piece right here is an antique piece of milk glass. The patent date on it, as a matter of fact, is 1889. So clearly it's old. And it is also a piece that I have never seen before. So it really got my attention. Now, it is a bowl of eggs, and there is a chick popping out of the top egg. It would have been perfect for Easter. Unfortunately, we're a couple weeks late. But let's dissect it real quick. Now, this right here, whenever you see this on a piece of milk glass, it doesn't even have to be milk glass, just a piece of glassware. This right here, we've talked about it before, is considered open lace. So in your research, you can plug in open lace. It'll help you narrow down your search results and maybe find what you're looking for. But this piece right here was actually made by Atterbury Glass Company, and it sells anywhere from $100 to $125. Those are the prices I've seen it sell for. Now, the pieces that I did see sell had damage. This guy has practically no damage, with the exception of a little itty bitty bitty, super tiny little chip that you have to get the light just right to see. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. Now, the other thing that it is lacking is he would have had little gems in his eyes. He would have had little gem eyes. But he is missing his little, I guess I could like go find some sequins down in Juliet's room and just stick them in his eye sockets and maybe get away with it. But I'm not gonna do that, no. He is already listed on eBay, so he's all cleaned up, already listed on eBay. So we'll see how he does. I'm pretty excited for that. I love finding pieces that are unique and that I haven't seen before. I get really excited, so really happy I found that. But there's more. So let's talk about this little picture here. Now, when I spotted this at George's, Thunderbird Salvage, I call it George's because he's the owner, I saw the pine tree on the back, and I didn't actually flip it over to see the scene that is pictured there. Now, it is a windmill scene with some more trees, and the cool thing about this piece is there appears to be no damage. Now, there is this little mark here that I suspect may have been a repair, but I can't tell. So I disclosed it in my listing. This is up on eBay. I started the bidding out at $18 and it is up to $20. So we'll see how this one does as well. But I do believe it's absolutely 1800s, but I do believe it may be Dutch. Not entirely sure on that. But I mean, the windmill, that's kind of a clue. So it is a really nice piece. Really nice piece. But moving right along, let's talk about the canister. Now the canister is kind of gross to touch because I didn't actually get it cleaned. I cleaned about like half the stuff and got it listed and then just kind of lost momentum. So the canister is still pretty dirty. It's this teal basket weave canister. It is vintage, I do believe. I'm not sure. I don't believe it's antique. There are no markings on it. Nope, no markings. But I love the color and I love the basket weave pattern. There does appear to be an area here where there is no basket weave that may have had like a little adhesive that said tea or sugar or flour or something along those lines. But I will probably end up listing this one on Etsy and I'll probably ask between $35 to $40 for it. So once it's all cleaned up, of course. Now another piece I have here is this plate, which I didn't actually get on video. It was one of the, we were out going out the door and I was like, hey George, how about this plate? And he's like, oh, just take it with you. I was like, oh, okay. Now it is marked Schumann Bavaria US Zone. Now that's pretty cool. This would be considered reticulated versus the open lace. The reticulated is more stamped. The open lace is kind of more of a mold on the edges. And of course this is ceramic and that is glass, but to describe this, it would be considered reticulated. It's just a floral transfer wear. This is already sold. I listed it up on Etsy tonight and it's sold for $18. So this is going to a new home, but it is a beautiful, beautiful plate. I just love the bright, vibrant colors and that gold shininess. It's a nice piece. So let's talk about the Majolica. I love Majolica. I'm just like, I'm obsessed with it basically. This piece right here is a basket weave. We talk about that a lot. It's just this basket weave. That's what it is. So this is a basket weave pattern with blackberries on it. This was also one of the pieces I grabbed there at the very end. Unfortunately, and I'm not sure if you can see it with the ring light, I don't think it's going to focus for you guys. There is a chip that runs down to right about here. So there's a chip in this plate. But with the pattern, it's really hard to tell from the front. So for a display piece, this would be perfect. But for a functioning piece, I mean, like, I don't even know anyone who actually uses this to like eat off of. Maybe that's a thing. But I would not recommend it with the crack. So this will more than likely end up in Etsy. I would probably ask in its current condition, I want to say $20 to $30. I'll have to look up comparable ones and then subtract a bunch because it's chipped. So that'll end up in my Etsy, along with the other Majolica plate that I have up there that is also chipped on the back because I'm a sucker for it and I buy it even when it's chipped and cracked. Let's move along to our witch, our plastic witch. Now I did clean this up, but I didn't get it listed. This is vintage. I want to say probably 80s or 90s. It is cool. It is made in China. It's marked JSNY. That is all. There is no other clues as to what this is or where it came from. Now, the bottom does look like it's broken, so I almost wonder if it was on top of something or if there was more to it than just this. But I like it. I would probably ask, I don't know, $18 to $25. Probably closer to 18. But it is really neat. I love Halloween decor. I wasn't allowed to celebrate Halloween until I was 13. The perks of being a pastor's kid. But now I go a little bit overboard because I love Halloween. Anyway, now this guy's got me stumped. I don't know if you saw him in my shopping video, but he's like half dog, half deer. He's got hooves, but he's got these ears that make me want to say like, oh, you're a dog. But he's not. He's like a deer dog. A deer dog? I don't know. But he's a planter too, so he's a deer dog planter. He is Japan. And he's going to end up in my Etsy shop. I will more than likely ask between $18 and $25 for him, for the deer dog planter. the cuteness factor goes a long way with him. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm just like, I can't figure it out. Before this video, I'm staring at this thing and I'm like, what am I gonna call this? And I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna be honest with him and I'm just gonna say it's a deer dog planter and we'll just go from there. So let's talk about this vase. This vase I paid close attention to in the video. I filmed it and I was going to leave it there. And then I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm gonna leave this here after getting it on film and somebody's gonna say, oh, that vase, where is it in your haul? I really wanna buy it from you. And then I'm just gonna regret all my life's decisions. So I brought it home with me. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, why did I bring this home with me? It is marked on the bottom, but I'm just, you know, a lot of the times I can look at a piece and I can say, okay, well, that is Italian or that is French or I don't know, and then kind of narrow it down and figure out the maker from there and follow it down this rabbit hole. This piece has me stumped. I have no idea who the maker is. I do believe it is vintage. It is marked. It is marked. It's like a faded mark. I'm not really sure. It will more than likely go up in my Etsy shop. If you know anything about this and you want to leave it in the comments, let me know. But otherwise, it'll probably just end up in my Etsy shop. Probably between, I want to say $35 and $40, just because it's a real heavy, good quality vase. And without knowing who made it or any of that, it's really hard to put a value on it. So I'm just selling it for the vase factor, basically, is what I'm saying. We're saving that piece right there for last. But the little bear that has to go to the bathroom, the one that Sissy was carrying around for me, he's obviously holding himself because he has to go pee. But he's got googly eyes, which I thought was just too much to handle. He is raisin. And you know, it's really late at night right now. He is reason. Still doesn't sound right. But he is made to look wood. He's made to look wood. He's just too cute. He's a figurine. He is also up on eBay right now. I started the bidding at $12 for the cuteness factor and the googly eyes, right? Okay. Andrew found this. It is a little chalkware wall hanging kitty. This one is going to end up on my Etsy shop and I will probably ask, I don't know, $12 for it. I believe they were usually sold in pairs and unfortunately I only have a single. On the back the price is $15, so I think you're getting a good deal for it. It is cute, little black cat. Go good with the witch. Okay, what have we not talked about? Let's talk about this spaghetti horse. Now you hear me use the term spaghetti, and the reason I'm using that is this right here that looks like worms, this ceramic worminess, is also referred to as spaghetti. So normally you will come across spaghetti poodles, but there are also spaghetti cats and spaghetti elephants, and I'm sure there's other critters that have been spaghettied. But this is a spaghetti horse. They're typically made in either Italy or Japan, and there may be other countries that made them, and I'm just clueless about that. But more than likely they are made in Japan. Like this guy, he is made by Kreese. It's K-R-I-E-S-S, I do believe is how you spell it. This horse would sell between $45 and $65. He's got a lot going for him because of his color, because of his sunshine yellow. That's actually going to be a selling point for him. You know, I already filmed this video once and then a train went by and I decided to start refilming, and the entire time I was filming it the first time I was trying to get this tag off and I just did it. See, the first time was practice. So I love the horse. I'm really tempted to keep him because I do collect spaghetti critters. So there's a lot of temptation there. I'm not sure yet whether or not I'm going to list him. If I do, he's going to end up on Etsy. We'll see. I love him. He's my friend. Okay, moving along. Let's talk about these little dishes. Now, unfortunately, I only have 2 of them, but I liked the vibrant colors and I liked the florals. I do believe they are more than likely made in Italy, but it's possibly Spain, just because of the colorfulness and the florals. I'm not sure what they may have went to. It's possible that they would have been maybe on a Lazy Susan. You guys see me pick up those Lazy Susan things all the time, but I'm not really sure about these guys. I just bought them as little dishes that you could put on your vanity and maybe throw your earrings into, your jewelry. I would probably ask, I want to say like between 16 and 25 for the pair, just because they are really pretty. Yeah, that's why, because they're really pretty. Let's talk about, oh, we've only got 2 items left. Okay, so we're gonna have to talk about the lamp now. So a lot of you have been pointing out lamps in my videos, and you timestamp it and say, oh, you missed this lamp. I'm not really missing the lamps. It's kind of like a tunnel vision and trying to avoid buying more lamps, because I know that I have all these project lamps here at the house that I have to get through before I keep buying more lamps. Granted, if a really nice lamp comes along, I'm gonna buy it. But I've got a lot of lamps here that I need to go through and rewire and fix up and get listed, because I'm getting behind on those projects. Anyway, I walked by this lamp 3 times, and then Andrew comes around the corner and he's like, did you miss this lamp? Like, no, I saw it. And he's like, and you walked right by it? And I'm like, he's like, it's really cool. It's this woman with a, I'm like, just, okay, fine, get the lamp. So I've got another lamp here. It's a ceramic mid-century lamp. It needs a new wire. It is another project lamp, unfortunately, but fortunately also, because it is a really nice lamp. I'm kind of glad that he brought it to me and didn't give me a choice in the matter. We've talked about these lamps before, these ceramic lamps, about how you can increase the value by adding shades, and if you have a pair, it's worth more. So to fix up this lamp, I'm gonna have to rewire it. I'm gonna have to find a shade, but once I do that, I'm gonna have probably $45 to $65 that I could get for this lamp. But it's all about finding the perfect shade and paying the right price for the shade too, because I don't want to pay too much for it. But when you consider we've got $75 into what we have here on the table, I think we're gonna come out ahead. Now, this piece right here, this is probably my favorite piece of the entire shopping trip. It took me a while to figure out what this was, but that is one thing about me, and a lot of people ask, well, how do you know so much? How do you know what this stuff is? And I will tell you, my secret is that I am a researcher, and when I have a piece that I can't figure out, I am determined and pig-headed and stubborn enough to fixate on that piece until I find my answer. And it might lead me down 10 million different paths on my way to the answer. And on my way down those paths, I learn more about different things that have nothing to do with the piece that I'm looking for. But I gather that knowledge and I learn about all these different things, and then I apply it when I'm out at shops and stuff. So there's so much value in research, and a lot of people don't realize that. And you think that posting it in a Facebook group and getting the answer just like that is valuable, but it's not really. Doing your own research and being able to research stuff and figure out what it is on your own is so very important to being successful. This piece right here took me a while to figure out. Now, Andrew's dad is very, very good with ceramics. And we showed him this, and he looked it over. He thought, he dated it to probably mid to late 1800s. And he just couldn't place it. You know, it was kind of like, what is this? So for him not to know what it was, I was like, oh, I'm never in a million years gonna figure out what that was. But I was sitting in my office yesterday looking at this, and I'm like, okay, so what design qualities does that have? And then looking at it, and I think, that's French. That's French. It's got to be French. So I just go on Google and I type in French pottery picture antique. And all these listings start popping up, and I follow it down this rabbit hole, and it's French. I do believe it's French. Please correct me in the comments if I am wrong, but I am like 87 million% positive that it is French. It is Jaspe, Jaspe pottery. Now this is kind of a red clay, but it has a cream glaze on it. More often you find it in a red glaze, so you will find the red pieces, but this is cream, it's a yellow, but it is a glaze, and it's got the blue dots, and it's a very interesting pattern for this kind of pottery. Now, I do believe, and Andrew's dad pointed this out, that there may have been a lid on this at one point, and looking at some of the other examples of this particular pottery, they did have lids. So unfortunately this piece does not have a lid, but it is just absolutely stunning. And I'm basically in love with it, but I am going to list it on eBay. It does have condition issues, but with a piece this age, it's kind of to be expected. Kind of like with this piece, how I was saying I was really surprised it didn't have any damage, because when you come across these pieces, it's really hard to find them without damage. So it does have a few cracks, hairline cracks. They don't go all the way through, but they're starting to. So this has got to be my favorite piece from this entire shopping trip. And it just goes to show that there are still treasures to be found out there. And this is definitely a treasure. So we found some really great stuff at George's Thunderbird Salvage in Philadelphia. If you're in the area or around the area, make sure you go check it out. George is a really interesting character and a great guy, and we always enjoy spending our time there at the shop. But I can't wait to go back and dig for some more treasures there. But I think that pretty much sums it up. That's everything we got in yesterday's shopping video. I hope you guys enjoyed this haul. And make sure you go check out the listings if you're interested in any of this stuff. I am splitting the listings between Etsy and eBay. I know a lot of people have been complaining that they can't get to the stuff fast enough when I list it on Etsy because it's selling pretty quickly. So I'm hoping to kind of fix that by listing it on eBay and giving people more of a chance. We'll see how that works. We'll see how that works. But anyway, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Later. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you've spotted something that you just can't live without, don't worry. I've put a link to our Etsy store down in the description.